Hmm. Oh well. We'll try it. We'll try it. Make sure I have the right brush equipped, I think. I think I have. Yeah, that looks good to me. That looks good to me. All right. First step, me drawing Jackie, the Jack in the Box. What the hell? So I've got a couple other of the MIMC characters lined up, but this is where we're starting. I need to get like the whole body. Actually, I think I need this to be more like a 15 point instead of a 20. I don't think the mouth would be like open that wide or whatever. I need to remind myself this is a sketch. I think it's funny that this character was used in the promotions. When, you know, just like any of the other animatronics and stuff, it only shows up for like a little amount of time. Baller. Hey. I'm just doing a little bit of drawing. I like the Jackie section, mostly because, you know, you've got this interesting thing going on where the bottom half is just completely like torn off of its box, so you're completely reliant on these arms. Now, so far I haven't incorporated it into this sketch yet. And honestly, the way I do these eyes, it doesn't line up with the... Where the hell's my arm? Oh, shit, that's what happened. I was like, where's my arm? I didn't see it on the screen at all. Speaking of arms, actually the body here, go like that. That's how he looks IRL. Five Nights at Comic Fun House. What I really need to do, I think, is I got the head here, hat, whatever. I need to design the whole figure. Because, like, this picture here is pretty dynamic, but I don't want to just, like, copy that, you know? I don't want to lose any, like, good details either. Also, this pen I'm using, maybe I could make it more opaque to replicate maybe like, you know, sketching more. Because, like I said, this is supposed to be... Holy moly. Okay. I could probably do like... It works just fine like that. The only thing with this is... What in the hell is going on here? I mean, I know what's going on here. I'm just, you know... I know what I'm gonna do. Zigzag, zigzag. I know it. I know it's happening. I know it. They're out to get me. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Everybody's out to get me. Anyway, I do this, and then what's the secret? Big hair. I actually like this one down here. You don't get to see the front, which sucks because you miss out on like the... I think that's pretty fun. Why your art's so goofy? I don't know. Why's my why's my ISP suck? This probably be okay, I think, perhaps. I don't know if I should like do like an actual like, you know, colors and inks and stuff. Big deal. I guess I could color that. I really should be doing this as like a vector layer. This would let me be a little bit more flexible. I really gotta make that like better. The hair, it's actually got like but I don't know if that's gonna give off like hair doing lines like that. That'll work for like this being all scriggly, but that doesn't look good. That looks fine. Goofy, no, it's just goofy. Look at that. Got 2 arms. This would be so much easier. Point and click adventure. Run by the Comicdud. What are you talking about? No joke. Oh. Says I got a good connection. I don't know what it's yelling at me. No joke. Ooh. We like jokes though, but it's no joke, then ooh, I don't know. What are we pointing and clicking? I'll just do it like that. That'll look kind of good. This will look better once I get some colors. Yo, Mimic. Mimic. It's the Jackie. Starting off with the Jackie. I don't care. Some of these lines are just gonna have to overlap. Just how it's gotta be. Pseudo entertainment. Life is strange. Hey. I'm listening. I'm listening. An invalid. Yeah, whatever. Ooh. Yeah. There's... Nope, that's not the right. Oh. I do need this to be kind of blue though. Cool. Oh, that's too blue. Oh, and I forgot to do the ring on that one. Oh well. We'll add it in. Actually, see what her music is like. It's kind of cool. Oh yeah, this is really cool. I think the problem here is 30-second animation. It really just depends. Because it could be like, you know, a whole week or something. It could be a whole week. Trying to remember which one of my, okay, there's that one. And then, oh yeah, here's the one where I actually look at you. Here's the one where I'm looking at my screen. I forgot what this one was. Okay. Alright. Now look at you. I don't know, what's kind of funny about doing the drawings on Clip Studio is it doesn't necessarily have that exact same look as when I do stuff on Flash. It's a mimic. Kind of. It's kind of the mimic. That's kind of my Jackie, I guess. I suppose, go like this. I could do some really stupid stuff here. Was that an arms mention in 2025? You never played Arms? Arms was really fun. I was kind of, I don't know. I was kind of a fan of that game. Oh, Switch then immediately gave it to him. Oh. Oh yeah, classic freaking, you know. All right, there. I added some very basic, like, shadows. So now, that's technically complete, I think. Let's see, we got Big Top. He's kind of a little bit more, well, he's got a little bit more going on. Take these, put this in here. So But now... There we go. Tickets, please. Now he's kind of just a guy. Yeah, Big Top had like one of the best. Tickets, please. Tickets, please. Do, 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 do. What sucks is I've got shows I have to watch tonight. Shows I need to watch, streams I need to watch, YouTube videos I need to watch. Just too much to watch. Right now it's destroying the... Making this hat way too big. But I got stuff I want to do as well. Trying to get what I can out of this. You know. The hell? Big hat? I'm not even exaggerating it that much, you know? That's kind of the disappointing part here. Because right now I'm just kind of like capturing his likeness. I'd really like to get more, you know, I'd like to get more here, but right now it just is what it is. Try and capture it and then we can extrapolate, I think. From Silent Hill? Oh my god, it's Pyramid Head. Hey! How you doing? I'm fighting my like internet connection, I think. What's new? So, drawing like the head a little bit. I liked it. There were some parts that were a little like, I don't know, frustrating. But overall, I liked it. I think I might do New Game Plus. Not that I necessarily need to for the lore, because I did already go and like kind of look up the other endings and whatnot. But it's pretty much like it's a very straightforward FNAF game. As far as like a lot of the other ones, you know, the lore is kind of, it's kind of hidden. You have to kind of figure it out after the fact. But this game's a little bit more straightforward. Like, if you're playing through the story and listening to some of the like audio stuff as you like go along and pay attention, you'll get it. I have not. I am in the middle of listening to that big freaking 36-hour YouTube video that talks about and analyzes all of those. I don't know. Probably zoom in a little bit. Because this right here, it's pretty much just like, you know, copy the car. So Secret of the Mimic is pretty cool because it tells the story of the Murray's Costume Manor. Edwin Murray basically like created all these animatronics. And then how Fazbear Entertainment came in and freaking stole everything right from under him. See, I've been listening to some lore about Big Top. Oh, I forgot the speakers on his head. And it's interesting that people can't really like agree if he was being controlled by the Mimic the whole time or not. Because on the one hand, you do his section, and while the power's on, he's good. When the power's off, he goes into this weird, like, protector mode, or whatever, with a spotlight and everything. And then, I don't know, he's so big. You look at the freaking layout of this guy. I've heard people say that it's possible the Mimic got up like inside the head, and that's how they were controlling like all of these limbs, because there might be like controls up in there or something. But then you've got like this whole section down here with all of these limbs. I love the music in his section. I love the setup for his section. I love how big he is. But I'm just not convinced that the Mimic would have like been able to control all that. And I think later in the game you might see the Mimic show up in the final part where he's like chasing you down in like underneath the manor. But I don't know. I didn't see it. That would have explained how the Mimic caught up with you when you went down there. I don't like that. I kind of like this, but also... I did hate freaking DJ Music Man section in Security Breach. I got stuck on that, like, part of that chase. I remember being really frustrated with Security Breach, but like still thinking back on it fondly despite all of its flaws. Whereas this is like legitimately a competent game. The same treatment Vanny got in Security Breach. If you mean like not enough screen time, probably. Or like Fanny was underutilized in Security Breach. They had a cool idea and they just did not use her. I liked how they utilized the Mimic. He did a good job with the Mimic. And the only problem was the gimmick of the Mimic is they take control of other, you know, suits or animatronics. And so you only really see glimpses of the Mimic themselves. Until later on in the game. Well, I mean, it does kind of add. It does kind of add a little bit here. Where wasn't it? Oh, wasn't it assumed that it was William Afton and that other guy? I don't know, his like last name's Emily or whatever. Wasn't it assumed that they made the animatronics? But like, this kind of shows that they didn't create the animatronics. Yeah, so I get what you're saying about that. It's interesting because I think there's still some wiggle room for them to, like, you know, mess with the designs and stuff. But it kind of creates like a dynamic where William's even more of like a scumbag. This guy's ruined any. Alas. It's just they commissioned Edwin to design robots for them. They still own them. Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff that Edwin was making was kind of like prototypey anyway. And there's a line in Secret of the Mimic where he's like, so this is something that's interesting. In Secret of the Mimic, you wear a lot of the spring lock suits. There's like a whole section where you're wearing like the pirate captain's spring lock suit, and you go through like a lot of stuff with that, including like falling a great distance, collapsing in on the theater room. But your spring locks never crush you, they never activate, they never kill you or anything. And even when you get to like the bottom of the manor, to the test stage, you know, the test Fazbear stage with the animatronics and everything. There's an audio log down there where Edwin kind of says something along the lines of, you know, why do they still want to use these like spring locks or whatever, these old, or why don't they want to use these old spring locks? I don't know. It's like referencing like an older version of the spring locks. which I assume were like the more dangerous ones. But they... Yeah, Henry... I don't know, I'm getting off tangent here. Trying to put this guy together. That's more like accurate. That one's a little bit more squished. I'll try and find like a good... I will say... Yeah. I will say I do like the tragedy of the thing. Where Secret of the Mimic has this dude meets a woman at work. They really click. They get married. They end up having like a kid. They have like kind of a happy life, but he's a workaholic. And then she dies, which is very sad. That's a good little story beat there. And then, like, I don't know how much later it was that he created the M1, but he created like the first Mimic prototype, and it ended up like mimicking his late wife, Fiona, and I thought that was really cool. Yeah, yeah, I mean, you're kind of right about that, because it's only like barely mentioned in the game. It is only barely mentioned in the game. So a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I don't know how they could have fit it in there. I don't know what they would have done with it besides like a quick mention or something. Now this is kind of cool. Kind of like what we got going on here. This guy down. But I also love how it was the Mimic that kind of like pressured him into doing the M2, because she was like, hey, you know, you did it once when your wife died. Why don't you do it again now that your son's dead? And then even after like he went through with it, he like basically immediately regretted it. I don't know, I liked the family angle with the robots. I thought that was kind of cool. And then I loved in the game, like, always running into the Mr. Helpful, Mrs. Helpful. I thought they were really fun. The poor character you played as was just like sleep deprived worker. That's interesting. Boyfriend. See, I hadn't read those books, so I didn't have that kind of perspective before going into the game. I think, like, I think it's kind of mentioned in the game, but also not really, that he didn't originally intend for it to be, you know, a replacement for his wife. It just sort of like happened. But, you know, it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, that's how it, like, developed. I will catch up on all the lore. I will figure out what's going on. There's this really interesting theory that guy I'm listening to mentioned about the books, where like some people argue about like how they're canon or not. No, it's not possessed by Fiona. I wouldn't make that argument myself either. But he's got this like theory that he mentioned that I thought was cool, which was like these books, what was it? It was like they're like in-universe books that aren't like necessarily, I don't know which ones he was talking about for that theory, but it was like, you know, they were written in universe, so they exist like in the game universe, but they're not necessarily canon as far as like what happens in the books. But if some of those books deal with like major players, then that wouldn't necessarily make sense. I don't know. Believed it. I like this angle a little bit more, and like how much more dynamic this is. Well, it's not necessarily like, you know, on model or whatever. Bright's fiction. Yeah, that's probably it. There we go. Look at that guy. Kind of like that. I think that's fun. Play eating a rock. I was trying to make it like a little bit curved. But yeah. Hello. Hello. I got that one. That's at least one done. This one, I'd have to like draw the arms and stuff on it. I don't know. I gotta catch up on some lore. Almost all the locations from each game are stacked on top of each other. That's kind of stupid, but also kind of funny. But also, like, the Pizzaplex and Security Breach, they had, like, what, the original location? It me. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me what you got. Yeah.